Hello, everybody. This is Rise Without Applause, and I'm your host, Kevin Rubio. Today, we're going to be talking about discipline. So, if you've not been living under a rock lately for like the past, I'll say 2 to 3 years, you've heard discipline a lot, right? You hear athletes talk about it. You hear speakers like David Goggins, right? Let's see who else. Andrew Tate on social media. You hear these people with big names, these successful people preaching about discipline, like praising it, saying that discipline is this like magic pill to life, right? It's the answer to everything, right? And I would say there kind of is some truth to it, that discipline does help you. Discipline is like the root to like getting out of like this lifestyle of the this negative cycle that you have in your life. Because if you've been in self-improvement for a while, you know that you have to push yourself. You can't just expect things to come to you. You can't expect to choose the easy things and call that self-improvement. You know, you have to make sacrifices. You have to choose what's hard and what's harder to work for. Not instant gratification, but something that gives you long-term gratification. Something that gives you like satisfaction on the long term, you know? And so yeah, discipline isn't like this magic pill that fixes everything in life, because that's God. That's Jesus. That's the love of Jesus Christ. And if you have self-improvement, you have your discipline, and then you have Christ with you, right? You're a Christian. You keep God in your heart. You keep your heart open. There's nothing in this world that you can't accomplish. There's nothing. So for today's lesson, I'm going to be talking about how discipline is worship to God. So you're probably wondering, how is discipline worship, right? How is discipline supposed to be worship? Like, how is what we give our time to, how is like our habits, how is that contributing to God's love? How are we praising God in that way? But in Romans chapter 12, verse 1, it says, "Therefore, brothers and sisters, in view of the mercies of God, I urge you to present your bodies as a living sacrifice, holy and pleasing to God. This is your true worship." Right? Everything that we do in life, everything that we give our time to, that we give our energy to, should be towards the right thing. It should be towards God, right? And a lot of the times, especially nowadays, we give everything that we have, our time, into lust, right? We give it into social media. We give it into doom scrolling, into instant gratification activities, right? And if you don't know what instant gratification is, it's an activity that you know is bad for you and it's gonna mess you up in the long term, but you do it because it makes you feel good in the moment, right? That'll be anything like eating sugar, watching things you shouldn't be watching on the internet, doing things like that, or kind of be like, oh, I'm not gonna run today. I'm gonna stay home. I'm gonna sleep. I'm not gonna get anything done. Right? So basically, another word for like sin. This is how I would say it to a Christian, right? If you don't know that much about self-improvement, that it would be a sin. A lot of the time we give our time to sin, and we live like this horrible lifestyle. Then on Sundays we go to church and we worship God. But are we really worshiping God if the only time that we're dedicating for God is on Sunday? When the rest of the week we're living like shit. We're living horribly. We're not living to the way that God wants us to live. So we gotta treat our bodies correct. We gotta wake up in the morning, take cold showers, go on runs, make ourselves feel great. If you feel great, you know how you heard the saying, your body's a temple. Treat it like one. Take care of it. Hydrate. Put the right things in your mind. Read the Bible. Meditate. I promise you, if you pair self-improvement and Christianity together, you'll be the happiest person. I promise you that. If you don't give it a chance, then that's kind of foolish, because as soon as I discovered that, you know, I tried to do self-improvement without Christianity, I couldn't do it. I kept falling off. It was like, I'll do good, boom, I'll go back down. I'll do good, I go back down. But as soon as I got Christianity in my life, everything changed. I promise you, everything will change in your life and you'll be the happiest you'll ever be. You don't need drugs, you don't need any of these things that made you happy before to find this true happiness. All right, but enough with my ranting. Next verse. 1 Corinthians chapter 9, verse 27, it says, "But I discipline my body and bring it under strict control, so that after preaching to others, I myself will not be disqualified." So, you know, with athletes, like, they have to stay in shape, right? Let's say you're playing for a basketball team. You can't just win the championships and then the rest of the time after just slack off. No, you gotta prepare as soon as you can for the next season. You have to prepare, you have to train, you have to condition your body. You have to keep up with it, because if you don't, if you let yourself go once you have the accomplishment, everyone's gonna outclass you. Everyone's gonna beat you in whatever you're doing. And so the thing is, you don't want to do that. You want to keep kind of keeping yourself in check. And that's the same thing goes with Christianity. With Christianity, you don't just want to read the Bible or go to church and be like, boom, that's done. I'm done. I'm set. No, you want to live out the gospel. You want to live out the teachings of Jesus Christ. So you want to read the Bible anytime that you can. You want to be able to live out what Christ is wanting to teach us. So if you take one thing from this video, I don't know how long this video is. If you take anything, know that discipline's important. Do the hard work when you don't feel like it. When things feel like it's hard to do, like it takes more effort, that's how you know what's good for you. So take that time, get up and try to get it done, and keep God in your heart. Thank you. Stay blessed.